Hello, this is Keep It Simple Stupid Math. In the last video, we covered what positive and negative numbers are. But now we want to do operations. Operations like add or subtract. This video will show you exactly what is happening when we add or subtract positive and negative numbers. Let's start with positive numbers since you're already familiar with those. Something like 4 plus a positive 3 equals a positive 7. Or 4 minus a positive 3 equals a positive 1. And normally you don't have to write a positive sign in front of positive numbers. We would just write 4 plus 3 equals 7. And over here, 4 minus 3 equals 1. All right, you already knew that. Now, what does adding a negative number look like? So instead of adding a positive 3 here, let's try and add a negative 3. So 4 plus a negative 3. And for negative signs, you do have to write the sign every time. And I like to put parentheses like this to kind of remind myself and separate it out and say that, okay, we're dealing with a negative 3 here. So when we add a negative number, what are we actually doing? Well, let's look at our trusty number line. If you add 4 plus a positive 3, which we said equals 7, what you're doing is you're starting here at 4, and then you're adding or inserting, that's what this plus sign is, a positive 3 units. So if you have 4 plus a positive 3, you end up at 7. And it's the same thing with adding a negative number, except now we're inserting negative units instead of positive units. So we were looking at 4 plus a negative 3. So we start here at 4. We're still adding or inserting something, and that something happens to be negative. So this negative 3 is what we're adding to 4. And when we do that, it's kind of like walking backwards on the number line. And if we go backwards 3 units, we end up at 1. So the rule for adding a negative number is that it becomes the same as just subtracting that number. So our 4 plus a negative 3 is the same as 4 minus 3, which equals 1. The last thing you can do is subtract a negative number. Let's again, though, look at something we already know, like subtracting a positive number. Something like 4 minus a positive 3, which is the same as 4 minus 3 equals 1. So we think of subtracting as taking something away. So we're starting here at 4, and then we're taking away, removing positive 3 units to get to 1. What about 4 minus a negative 3? Does it make sense in your head to take away a negative number? No, it does not. But look at this. If we start from a negative 3 and then add 7 units to it, we end up with a positive 4. We could say that this 4 is made up of a negative 3 component and a positive 7 component. So the original problem was 4 minus a negative 3. And remember, we said that minus or subtracting means we're taking away something. So we're taking away this negative 3 component, which is this portion up here. And if we do that, let's remove this. What we're left with is a positive 7. So we can say that 4 minus a negative 3 gives you a positive 7. So mathematically what ends up happening is that when we subtract a negative number, it becomes the same as just adding that number. So 4 minus the negative 3, we can actually just write that as 4 plus 3 equals 7. And so whenever you see two minus signs next to each other, you can actually just change that into a plus sign and add. If we go back to our number line then, we had 4 minus a minus 3. But we said that subtracting a negative number is the same as just adding that number. So this becomes the same as 4 plus 3, which equals 7. If this all makes sense to you, then great. You understand why adding a negative number is the same as subtracting that number, and why subtracting a negative number is the same as adding that number. If not, I have another visualization that may get it to click in your head, which I'll link below. Give that one a try and let me know how it goes.